Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we need to tape up the back of our open bezel. This will be a little bit harder because this particular one has these little bumps on it. So we're just going to have to make sure that we stick it on real hard. So first I'm going to measure about how much tape I'm going to need, and then I just sort of rip that piece off. Alright, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stick it on the back of my bezel. It's just going to take a little bit, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got it stuck down here. I'm just going to show you really quick how I do it. I just give a little bit of a press to it here, and then you want to check the back and make sure that it's touching everywhere, that it's tight. So this is washi tape. It's just got a little like ocean design on it. But this kind, when you cure it under the light, won't make a terrible smell. I like to fold in the edges a little bit so that I have somewhere to grab when I need to move it under my lamp. So I'm just going to sort of give it a little bit of a fold here. That's probably good. Alright, I don't want to get it too close to the bezel here. Okay, alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to get my gloves on and start pouring out some resin. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start off with red. I'm going to do red on the outside of the heart. So you're not going to need a ton. It's a pretty small bezel. I'm just going to squeeze in a little bit into my little mixing cup here. Yeah, that looks about good. Maybe just a drop more. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now I've got my red powder and my little scoopy tool here. So I'm not going to need a ton of this. I'm just going to get a little bit, maybe about that much, and sort of drop it in there, and then you want to give it a real good mix. So sometimes the powders tend to sort of get a little clumpy, so it's good to sort of like really scrape the edges, scrape the bottom. Make sure that it's all good and mixed up here. Okay, so that looks dark enough. If I wanted a more vibrant red, I might put a little bit more powder in here, but I think that's probably good for this. So now I've got the flat tool here. So the flat tool is good for filling wide open spaces in your bezel. I've got a pointer one that I use for much smaller areas, but we're sort of filling a big area here, so. Alright, I'll start at the bottom and just give it a little drop, and then you can kind of just spread it around. Nice thing about the flat one here too is that you can kind of get into these more narrow corners with the edge of it like that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just fill the rest of this. So I've got all my red in. I'm just going to go ahead and use my UV flashlight here, and I'm going to set this part, and then we'll do the next color. So you want to just use your flashlight to set in between each different color that you use to make sure that they don't bleed together, unless that's what you're going for. But this one we want solid colors in each section, so alright, that should be good. Alright, so the next color I'm going to do is the pink for the middle. So I'm just going to give a little bit of squeeze here, get some resin going. Now I'm probably going to need just a little bit more than I did with the red, because we're filling a little bit bigger of a space, but it's a pretty small bezel, so you're really not going to need a ton. That's probably about good. All right. So I'm just gonna scrape a little bit of this powder in here. So this is actually glow-in-the-dark powder. I put it in this little like tiered thing with the other glow-in-the-dark colors because it came in little baggies, and that was way too stressful to try to open each time. So these look a little transparent. I think I might actually add just a little bit of white to this to make it a little more solid. The white kind of gives it a shimmery effect too. Let me grab that. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna add a little bit of white. So this is my, this is the white powder. There we go. So it just sort of makes the glow-in-the-dark powder a little bit more solid, and it gives it this sort of glittery look. So you can use the like liquid colors to fill these bezels as well, but I kind of like the shimmer powders because they give more of a interesting sort of texture to your colors. The other ones are just very solid, so if you know that's the kind of look you're going for, that'll work just fine. All right. So you can just sort of pour out of here if you're doing a big space. Just make sure you kind of guide it so you make sure you get all those little like crevices. It's okay if it doesn't look super deep too, because we're going to be covering it with a layer of clear resin to sort of give it a nice finished look on the top, so it doesn't have to go all the way to the top of the bezel. All right, okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit it with a little bit of light. All right, okay, and then the last color I'm going to use is the white for the bottle part. I'm just going to get that mixed up real good. So I've used these little mixing cups a lot, and I just make sure that I cure it in between each use. So there's some like stuck on resin, but it's not going to mix into my colors. You can like flip them inside out and peel off all the resin in between each use if you want to be extra careful. Okay, that looks good. Oh yeah, super cute. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this, and then we'll add in the decorations. Okay, so now I'm just going to put a layer of clear resin over the top of it, and then I'm gonna add in those little hearts. Dot there. Okay. And I've got my pointy tool for this one. So I'm just going to make sure that the resin gets to all the different little corners, covers all the surfaces. Okay, and now I'm just going to add in the hearts. Oops. I'm gonna move this one up here. There we go. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this under my UV lamp and make sure it gets a nice hard cure. And then I'll pull it off the tape, okay? Okay, so now I'm just gonna peel the tape off the back. There we go. Okay, so this is the back of the bezel. Sometimes you get little bubbles like that, and that's okay, it's the back, so. And yep, there's the front. So now you can either add a keychain or a little like cloth clip. I've got a couple here. So I've got these little things, so you can like hang it on your purse or something. It's just got a little lobster clasp that you stick on it. So yeah, there you go. That's your UV resin charm.